I thought I would present to you guys a video. Sage made a post and it says, is there zoning in Skullgirls? Now, I've played Skullgirls. I played against this demon that you see on the right side of the screen here. I don't know the lore of this character, but my assumption is that from the 7th gate of hell, this character burst out after making a deal with Satan himself and besting him in a showdown, and appeared in a fighting game.
I'm going to do round start launch. It did not work. Now I'm getting shot.
I want you to know this is not my gameplay. This is the kill stage. Help. Help.
What do I do?
What help?
I need assistance.
Help.
Once I energize.
He says, what do I do? I need assistance.
All right. It's time to get in.
That ass and belly.
It is not time to get in.
The timing. The timing. Are you dead ass?
Fuck, he couldn't jump over it.
When I play against this character, my games look exactly like this. They come into my chat and they're just like, Sajam, just dash jump when the thing is not going to come down and you'll get in every time. Like, it's not that hard to get in. And I watched a kill Sage get fucking shot to death. And I'm just like, oh, thank God. Like, it's not just me. There's nothing that makes me happier than it's a fighting game, not a shooting game. It's a fighting game, not a zoning game. Nothing makes me laugh harder than when people type this. The thing is, though, is that archetypes, they exist in this way, and I understand. I understand getting shot to death sucks. It happens to me all the time. But zoning needs to exist in the game in the same way that oppressive offense needs to exist. When you get in on a zoner and they don't even see what happens, you're just twerking on them with your unseeable 12 mix-ups a second, and they're just getting fucking owned. They're just like, God, this character's so dumb. He's not even looking at the screen. He's just mashing, and he just gets in with his dumb mix-ups that I can't block. Like, that zoner hates you. Archetypes exist in fighting games so that we can have a balanced set of playstyles, a balanced set of roster that has just interesting ways to engage with each other. So, you know, this game is funny. He gets shot to death for a minute and he loses, but he won the set. He gets in and he just murders this character. What's my favorite archetype? British video essay artist. I retweeted Obama's tweet about Vaddy Vidya and Leon yesterday, and I was like, damn. You know, I want to talk about Leon's newest video, but I have to ask permission first because I'm going to make fun of him, I think. I like the idea, though. Did you guys see what they did? They did a video series where, like, Leon and then, like, a bunch of other people made videos about their whatever fighting game they picked, and they were like, this is how archetypes work in my fighting game. They had asked me about it, and I kind of was like, I don't even know what game I would do, and I don't even know where I would start with archetypes in, like, KI, for instance. You watched the video and you forgot what it was even about? I'm going to give you a spoiler alert. It's because for most of the video, he says one thing.
Today I want to talk about how Guilty Gear takes these archetypes and warps their perception to fit inside of an environment where everything's moving lightning quick.
I like this. Guilty Gear does have characters that are very weird, wacky. They fit into archetypes in cool ways.
While I don't think that Potemkin does anything particularly unique for the grappler archetype, I think it's more what he can't do that makes him interesting. Having a walk speed that was probably motion captured by a snail, and he's got a dash that, Potemkin doesn't have a dash, but he's got an air dash that, they decided to give him tools that allow him to approach the problem but not deal with it outright.
I know he has a back
dash.
dash,
By projectiles at full screen, slap that bad boy back, and now you've got a projectile that'll eat every other projectile. Just want to approach? Well, here's a dash that's an attack and it has armor, but it only armors one hit, requires a charge input, and is very punishable on block. Guilty Gear gave Potemkin all of the tools that you could have asked for, but monkey pulled all of them so that they all have downsides. After all, with the right reads, all of these downsides become non-existent, but since you have to make the right reads, it feels like you're always fighting for any advantage. But GG does really weird things with some of its archetypes. Like take Shows, for example, but while one of them is considered Unga Bunga, slam on the fight stick and place high enough to go back to the chimp tribe happy, the other is considered an honest character that requires...
I don't agree with that. This is propaganda. You give Kai better buttons, sure, that just means he can use them. You give Soul worse buttons, sure, he just has to be more patient. It's just the nature of the beast. You guys are just making shit up.
Since Soul brings Rushdown and aggression to the Shoto archetype, that's sometimes seen as passive or jack of all trades, he's sometimes seen as dumb as fuck. But Kai has these exact same mid-screen tools, but has significantly less ability to naturally apply pressure off of a mid-screen on-block situation. Since Kai either needs meter or has already knocked you down to completely break your will to hold a fight stick, he's seen as a more honest character. However, some of you might be quick to point out how both of these characters seem to bring potential Rushdown down to the Shoto archetype, so surely they're just Rushdown characters. But that's not really true. Rushdown characters' goals are to stick to...
We've made it past the section on Shotos. I'm not sure what we gained from that time, but we spent that time.
To you as much as possible and never let you breathe. Chip also has a DP and a kind of projectile who specifically wants to lock you in place and put you in multiple mix-up situations that are dangerous to guess out of. How is this different from Sol and Kai? Well, he gets to that situation in different ways? Yeah, but he still ends up doing the same thing as Sol and Kai, right? Just like more frequently.
I think the problem already is that the classification of Rushdown character is, I already don't agree with it. Chip is so different from a character from both of those two characters that I'm like confused why he is being classified as a Rushdown character with Sol and Kai as Rushdown characters.
Alright, so far we've just so happened to talk about characters that want to eventually become Rushdown characters with Okizeme, so how about we talk about the direct opposite character type with a Zoner? You know, the one that keeps you out and never wants you within arm's reach, typically with projectiles. A character like Venom is a perfect example of this type of character, with your multi-layer ball setups, long-range buttons, fantastic teleport mix-ups, delicious Okizeme that allows you to play in a brush. Hold on a second, this isn't right. Alright, let's come back to you later. How about we go on to someone else? Alright, so Bedman. Bedman's a weird character. He's not really a type that you see too often outside of anime games. He's a trap character. Think about like Carmine, Testament. Most combos end with a move that sets a trap, which allows Bedman to work towards a goal of setting up very hard to comprehend Okizeme that allows him to play Rushdown. Elfelt looks for knockdown with effective mid-range tools and then uses pine berries and shotgun stance for Rushdown. Ramlethal uses mid-screen tools to fish for knockdowns and then sets up swords for Rushdown Oki. Faust pushes you out with fantastic long-range control which allows him to set up items. And uses them items to effectively repeat the situation.
Yeah, there's I think a discrepancy here in that all characters, once they get a hit in their preferred range, become Rushdown characters. I think that that's an issue because I don't think Sol is a zoner every time he shoots a gunflame. And I don't think Kai is a hit-and-run character if he backdashes. In the same way that Dhalsim's not a Rushdown character because he gets scale and pressure after he knocks you down. Zoners in most games have pressure they can do once they knock you down, right? They have some kind of reward that is pressure when they get a hit and knock you down. It's not unique to Guilty Gear.
He's what I generally call an unorthodox character, since what he can do changes all the time and doesn't really fit within the standardized convention of fighting game characters. He's like the box of random shit that's under your bed. Who really knows what you're going to pull out? The one that you're probably immediately going to notice is the item toss. It spawns a random item that can just do loads of different shit.
Item toss is so
Meter-building
cool.
items, hammers that act as an anti-air and cover the space in front of you, mini Megafaust that crawl along the ground as active hitboxes, which makes for excellent approaching tools, and on knockdown allows you to suddenly switch into a Rushdown character. God fucking damn it, is there anyone here who suddenly can't be a Rushdown character? Is everyone secretly Unga Bunga too? Quick, somebody grab some keys, jangle them in front of my face. I need to know if I think it's funny. We can't all be Rushdown. That'd just defy the way that archetypes work. Unless Guilty Gear just has a really weird relationship with archetypes, because not everyone's going to be Rushdown all of the time, but it's hard to find a character that's defined by any one playstyle between every matchup. After all, you're going to go from matchup to matchup and wildly change how you play between them. I'm not going to play Venom Potemkin the same way that I'm going to play Venom Dizzy. That'd just be fucking stupid. It's more like every character exists on a radar chart, or whatever the fuck this thing is called.
Hey, it's ki.info.net.
And what they do well fluctuates to create a unique character.
Damn,
Most
Info's
of what
not
we
gonna
normally
like
see as
this one.
archetypes are kind of on this graph.
My issue, though, is like, I don't think this is unique to Guilty Gear. I think if that's what you want to present, and you want to talk about Guilty Gear archetypes and how they bend the rules and do cool stuff, that's fine. But I don't think, actually, that just because you can apply pressure afterwards is, like, a unique thing to Guilty Gear. In Marvel, think about the best zoners in the game, like Morrigan. Her offense is so fucked up. It's in line with the rest of the offense in the game. If the most tough to deal with offense in Street Fighter is here, right, then the best zoner's offense is like here. In the same way in Guilty Gear, if the best offense is all the way up here and the best zoner's offense is here, it's to match with the rest of the game. But even in Street Fighter, Dhalsim has excellent pressure when he knocks you down. Manat has excellent pressure. Guile has excellent pressure when they knock you down, right? It's like all those characters have super good offense. Yeah, Fairy in Grand Blue is a good example. I mean, of course, Morgan, like I just said. Literally any of the zoners I can think of are like that. Maybe space is more valuable to them in some matchups. It's like zoner grappler or something, sure. But I think that is like maybe a misconception about it. And if you've played other fighting games, particularly other fighting games that are like fast paced, the zoners typically have strong offense. So I think when you consider archetypes, it's where the character slots in and what they want to be doing most of the time. Whether they can run offense or whether they can zone or whether they can run away is just another thing that they can do, which is kind of what he gets into. But I think even presenting it like, oh, they all have these Rushdown characters ideas and stuff is like, That's not quite where I think it needed to go. Because like as I was watching this, I was like, dude, a lot of people are going to watch this and be like, yeah, Guilty Gear, all the archetypes are just Rushdown characters. And he does at the end go through all of them.
And I'm about to make some of you very angry. You ready?
He
Let's
makes
go.
like he does like a thing at the end here where he describes
He's a
all
gorilla. He's a Shoto. She's like a trap character, kind of. She's a bit weird. That's a Rushdown. He's
So he
like
does go
long
through it.
Limbs. That's not really an archetype.
He's just a mid-range character.
He's a snowball character. She's Rushdown.
Leo is a Korea.
He's a Rushdown. She's a Rushdown. She's a parry character. That's a Rushdown. Puppet character. Grappler. She's Rushdown. That's a monkey. Venom's a Rushdown character.
Johnny was
I
described
guess.
as a snowball
That's a zoner.
character.
She's a zoner. Faust he's just fucking weird, man. He's doing his own thing. He's a sleepy
Yeah, the
trap
Leo
man.
clip's great.
That's a Rushdown character, and that's the League of Legends Nexus.
Okay. This video needed to exist simply for this part right here. He is spitting facts. This is as true as it gets. In fact, even his breakdown of Potemkin and why Pot's cool is a cool breakdown of the archetype. I feel like this video, he kind of steered off and was like, these archetypes are a social construct or something. I'm not really sure what the intention was, but I think kind of the opposite. I think archetypes are important to understand because the way archetypes clash against each other is what makes fighting game matchups cool. And it's one of the biggest strengths of Guilty Gear as a series, right? It's just how diverse and weird the characters are. And like in some matchups, characters have to play completely differently or their best tools just don't work. So now they have to invest some like weird, new game plan out of nowhere where they're like, okay, all my pressure and everything that I do normally doesn't work against this character. So I have to invent a whole new series of offense against. It's just so cool. Just because your character applies offense when they get a knockdown doesn't mean they're a rushdown character. That just means you're playing a fighting game. One action in the match doesn't change how the archetype works. It's how the character interacts overall, what their tools are supposed to do and where their best ranges are. When a character gets pressure and their pressure doesn't work, what do they do after the pressure's over? Well, if they're a zoner, they retreat to their effective range to zone you. If they're a mid-range character, then they go back to the mid-range, right? If they're a rushdown character, they're looking for another way in. If they're a setup character or a trap character, they start setting up things on the screen to interrupt you. They do what they do best. They go back to doing what their archetype is good at doing. Yeah, he kind of gets there, but not, I think, in a way that's very clear or not in a way that I think explains that there are unique interactions and like, I don't know. I kind of feel like he gets lost in this video. I feel like when it comes to video essays and when it comes to all things, if it's about fighting games, I'm way more picky. But yeah, this is a part of a series of videos that is being updated, in case you guys didn't know. There's a playlist of archetypes, and there's archetypes in 3D fighting games, archetypes in Plus R, what makes team games, characters in team games so interesting, archetypes in Guilty Gear, archetypes in Super Smash Bros. Melee. So there's 5 videos already in here, and they're all about archetypes in fighting games. But I figured I would talk about archetypes because everybody else is going to talk about archetypes, and I was like, I had an idea, chat. I was like, what if instead of making a video about archetypes, I just let all of them make videos about archetypes and then just talk about it on my stream like I always do after it's over? Oldest trick in the book.
Listen.
I was thinking if I should learn a new Plus R character or not. I guess they added this to Dust Loop. They added matchup charts now. And as I was scrolling through it, I was like, does Soul have a single winning matchup on here? He's got a 5.5 listed against RoboKai, a 6.4 against Anji. An Anji player wrote this? Yeah, I don't know how he beats Anji. Look at the Faust one. Let me look. 6.5, 6.4, 6.4, 6.4, 6.4, 6.4, 6.4, 6.4, 6.4, 6.4. Oh! 4.5.